All right, let's watch this video. This is from MoistCr1TiKaL. The title of this video, guys, is "Reading This Made Me Mad."
Destiny 2 is a game that I have a very interesting relationship with. It's a relationship that I think teeters on being abusive. Like, the Stockholm Syndrome is hitting so deep that I can't help but keep coming back, only to constantly have my ass beaten by the developers, Bungie. I get punished for wanting to dive back into Destiny 2 and sink a ton of time into again and grind it out and enjoy it. I come back once a year to Destiny 2, my old mistress, thinking things have changed, thinking that they've changed, because they have a shiny new piece of content, a brand new raid that puts stars in my eyes, and I can't resist the urge to get back into the grind and go for world first. That is still, to date, I think the funnest activities I ever do in gaming annually, which is go for world first raid completions. We never even come close, of course, and sometimes we've only ever completed the raid on day one a single time. I'll get to that in a moment. But the experience in Destiny 2 of raiding is unlike anything else.
It's amazing.
With friends, it's some of the most memorable moments in all of gaming for me. I just love it. But the big problem is, that's about all they have. They do one high-effort content push per year, if that, for Destiny 2, and everything else is just filler, tedious chores, or just complete and utter neglect, with a smile on their face and a middle finger to the community. It seems like most of their focus throughout the year is spent on microtransactions from their Eververse store in order to nickel and dime and shake down people for their lunch money with cosmetics, and not fixing things that need fixing, not addressing things that need addressing, not even listening to community feedback or the player base, and just going complete radio silence until here's the new expansion and you guys are gonna buy it. We know you're gonna buy it, so get ready to buy it. I hate that.
I just want to point out this right here. This is the dialogue of a man who has greatly experienced the pain as a Destiny 2 player. This analogy there is so on point.
That this is kind of what Destiny 2 has become. I want a reason to log in and play and grind. I want fun things to do in the game, but there just really isn't. Now, I have always said Destiny 2 has so much potential, the most potential out of pretty much any product on the market. And not just from the PvE standpoint, but it also does have PvP. And the PvP could be great. It could be so much better. This is Bungie we're talking about. They made Halo 1, 2, 3, and Reach, some of the best fucking multiplayer games there are in the FPS genre. They could make Destiny 2's PvP an absolute fucking powerhouse of a shooter. But they don't put even a single iota of effort into it. I'm not the only one who feels
Let me also add on that point, because everyone, I know there have been people who said no, Destiny is a PvE game first and foremost, and I could see why someone would think that would be the focus, but that is the focus because Bungie has made it that way. All right, I'm not saying that Bungie should just stop everything and purely focus on just PvP. And man, we could really get into this topic because Destiny 2 vanilla, Bungie's excuse for double primaries, Bungie's excuse for ability cooldowns, all of that was under the pretense of making the game competitive. And to me, that was such bullshit. No PvP player, had they actively play tested Destiny 2 before it came out, would have been like, oh, sure, 1.2 second time to kill values, we love that. Double primaries, amazing. Cooldowns that are out of this world, exactly what I want. Slow movement, that's what Destiny needed. No PvP player would have been sold on that. I honestly don't really know. And I know, like, yes, under the pretense of balance, it was, I guess. It was, but it wasn't fun. But that got kind of just like, you know, wrapped into this. That's what PvP players wanted. This is what happens when we actually try to devote everything to PvP players. It blows up in our face. When all we really wanted from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 was really just more Destiny 1. That's really it. Some small tuning changes here and there. That's really it. That's all we asked for. No one asked for the double primary system. Now, things changed drastically from D1 to D2 in Forsaken when they allowed you to equip your special weapons in your first slot instead of just being designated to your second slot. So honestly, where Forsaken was, that's where Destiny 2 should have been at release. And also, I want to add this point too. before people say like Destiny 2 PvP isn't worth the investment, keep in mind the tournament that we had this past weekend at GCX, which was a PvP tournament. Dude, that was fine. That was amazing. There is a dedicated hardcore PvP player base that with the right setting, they will make fantastic content. I had so much fun watching that tournament. And I'm not saying that Bungie should just throw everything out the window because, I guess the excuse would be, okay, we're going to go invest in tournaments. Therefore, you're not going to get a dungeon this year, or you're not going to get a raid this year. No, we're not asking for that. But there is a PvP worth investing in.
This way, I'm not special. A lot of the community is feeling betrayed by Bungie, even more so now than ever, thanks to their most recent post on the state of the game, where it's just such a fucking nothing burger, like a complete empty calorie sandwich that has nothing to do except just say like, hey, this game development shit's not easy, so don't expect too much, and here's our plans for the future, and it's just really underwhelming. I don't know if they're just keeping big stuff close to the chest and they don't want to reveal a lot in their state of the game post, but it's still just alarming because they don't really do a whole lot for the game throughout these seasons. For those that don't know, Destiny 2 operates on a seasonal model, so it's supposed to be getting like an influx of content at different periods throughout the year, but really the only thing that ever actually has any substance to it is when they release either a dungeon that they finally put effort into, or their new expansion with some big story moments, big story missions, and a raid. A shiny, nice new toy for everyone to play with and everyone to come together and try and tackle the hardest content Destiny offers. At least that's how it used to be. This is a controversial take in the Destiny community, but I'm just gonna say it out loud and scream it from the mountaintops. Their most recent raid in the Lightfall expansion was a joke. Root of Nightmares was a raid that me and my team completed in 5 hours, and we are a team that has literally never completed a raid on day one ever.
Thank you!
Until this one. We are a team of casual players. I have probably the least amount of hours out of my group. I have close to like 1,000. Most of the others are between like 1,500 and 2,000, maybe a little bit more. But we usually never day one complete a raid. And for Root of Nightmares, one that we were so fucking excited for, we did it in 5 hours, and it just felt really deflating. Because we love the challenge. Like, there's a sick joy to banging your head against a wall in a really tough encounter for 16 hours until you finally get it. That euphoric moment when everything clicks and you complete the encounter it's so triumphant. But in Root of Nightmares, it was really, like, underwhelming. It felt really half-baked. Usually in raids, each encounter is a whole different ballgame in what you have to do in order to overcome the challenge. Of course, mechanics are borrowed from previous encounters, but they're expanded. They're given more and more depth. So you'll learn a mechanic in encounter 1 of a raid, and then you'll use that mechanic in encounter 2 in a different way, in a deeper way, in a totally different application of it. In Root of Nightmares, there was really only 2 mechanics the entire raid that never really changed. It was just rinse and repeat. They just kept copy and pasting the same mechanic over and over again. It was super, like, phoned in and lazy. There's only one good encounter in Root of Nightmares, and it's encounter 3 with the planets. That is a fun one. That is what we would have expected the raid to be like, where it has these really interesting encounters that have a lot of depth to them, but it's the only one. It's the exception in Root of Nightmares. Everything else is the exact same shit over and over again. It was just sad. And usually world first races last quite a long time, even for the best teams in the game. But this one was still completed in only a handful of hours. It was so fucking quick. Also, I wasn't exaggerating about the 16 hours on like a single room. When we did Deepstone Crypt Day 1 a couple years ago, we actually spent 16 hours in the second encounter until we finally got through.
Yep.
It was fun. Like, we still look back on that fondly. And in Root of...
Look. Let me just add to that. Yes. Again, we've said it year after year. If you don't hate your fire team in the middle of the raid, you're not truly raiding. There have been times, and most specifically, I would say Scourge of the Pass. No, not Scourge. What was it? Crown. Crown was a raid that I felt that way. Vow of the Disciple was a raid that I felt that way. Dude, if you don't feel like kicking everyone from your fire team or just unplugging your computer and just calling it, man, you're not really raiding. Now, let me say this about Root of Nightmares. Bungie made that raid way too casual, and it is apparent by literally every single change someone came into Bungie over the past year Maybe it's someone from Sony. I don't know. But suddenly they had the conversation, in my opinion, they've had the conversation where they said, hey, the new player is worth investing in. Make this as casual as you can. Let's just get everyone their participation trophy and let everyone experience this raid. And listen, everyone can still experience a day one raid, but not everyone needs to succeed at beating the day one raid. And Root of Nightmares, if the raid in Final Shape is going to be like that, then Final Shape is a loss. It is a wash. It needs to go the route of Vow the Disciple. I remember Vow the Disciple, it was my birthday the day after its release. And I remember it was 5 in the morning. So it had just rolled over. It was my birthday. I'm sitting there and we've been up for almost 24 hours. I went downstairs, made a fresh cup of coffee at 5 because I just knew it. I was like, the team's throwing, everyone's throwing. By this point, I'm like agitated. So I'm like throwing everyone under the bus. I'm like, dude, Les is not in the game. He's not even thinking straight. We're going to be here for another 24 hours. I already know. So I go downstairs and I'm making myself this cup of coffee and it's getting close to about 6 and my mom wakes up and because she had been staying with me that night. And she was like, you're not going to sleep? And I was like, no. I was like, we're on Rock right now, Mom. And I'm not about to bitch out right now. Even, you know, and she was like, you want to go have brunch this morning or breakfast this morning for your birthday? I'm like, fuck that, Mom. I don't want fucking brunch right now. We're going to kill fucking Rock. So I go back upstairs and we beat it. It was like 2 hours after that. And we beat Rock. And somehow we got our heads in the game. But it was an incredible feeling. It was an incredible feeling to pull that off. And that feeling did not exist at all for Root of Nightmares. You know, I remember we were sitting there in the third encounter. We were one of the first teams to get to the third encounter. We're in the third encounter and we get stuck there. And then all of a sudden, like after 30 minutes being stuck there, the news breaks that a team had already cleared the raid. And dude, it just took the steam right out of us. It was just like, really? That's it? Because we were expecting, okay, this encounter is tough. Dude, Nezrak is going to be crazy. And then, no. Just walk through, man. Everyone just walked through it. So, yeah, they need to go the route of Vow the Disciple, in my opinion. It's okay, Bungie, to have a bunch of people that attempt the raid and they get stuck at Caretaker. Or they are not able to clear that raid. It's okay if they get on Twitter and they're like, I paid X amount of dollars. I should be getting my reward, my emblem for this completion. It's all right to have those angry people. It's okay. You give prestige to that completion. And Bungie needs to go that route. I have said it for a long time, guys, and Last Wish is about as close as you get. Bungie just needs to make a raid that no one beats. And look, here's the thing. Bungie, you do not have the balls to do it. I wish you did. I wish you did. I wish you did. If you made a raid, because notice they said in the, I can't remember. It was like one of the TWABs or something here recently, or maybe it was maybe the state of the game. It was the state of the game. They said that the game would be, or that the final shape in its narrative, the Light and Darkness saga, would be finished post-raid. So like there will be a finish to all of that in the raid. It's tied to everything narratively. Hold on. Where is that comment? Where's that comment? Okay. This is a comment. This is from the state of the game. The final shape and its raid will provide a climactic conclusion to the Light and Darkness saga before we look ahead to what comes next in Destiny 2. And this is my concern. My concern is that the raid will be on the same level of difficulty as Root of Nightmares, because Bungie wants everyone to experience this conclusion. Do you see my concern with that? Because they're tying the narrative right there, I'm hoping that's not the case. So that is a concern that I have there, is that, oh, we're going to be tying the narrative into the raid and everyone needs to experience, because Bungie's going to be like, oh, there's going to be a cutscene. There's going to be this climactic conclusion. We're going to tie it to the raid. Everyone needs to be able to do the raid. Everyone needs to be able to experience that. And that's just going to water down the raid experience even more. I think the last time Bungie really operated from that point of view was like Niobe Labs. You know what I mean? Where Bungie was just like, hey, this is difficult as shit. Good luck. That was when Bungie was, you know, they had the balls to do that stuff. Now it's turned into everybody needs to experience this. The new player that literally picked up the game last week needs to be able to play the raid and complete the raid and experience this. Go play a strike. You know what I mean? There's places you can go do that. Go play a strike. You know what I mean? Go load up in a patrol mission. You want experiences? Go fucking play patrol. Raids are not it. Raids is where enemies put their balls in your face over and over and over. And you have to look inwardly and ask yourself, why am I so shit at this game? And that's okay. That is a beautiful experience. All right, let's get back on topic.
Literally took a 3-hour break. So it was 5 hours total, but the entire time was 8 hours because after the first 2 or 3 hours, we took a 3-hour break to watch the Moist Esports Valorant team play. Then we came back and then completed it in like another hour and a half, basically. It was so underwhelming compared to all of the other day one raids that we have done over the years. And let's not even get started on the campaign. The Lightfall campaign was a joke. They forgot that there was supposed to be a story in the Lightfall expansion. They literally forgot the narrative. So, you know, I won't even get too deep into that. Point is, it seems the direction Destiny 2 is going is one that the community is not excited about. And it seems like it's one that's entirely either fueled by greed or laziness or a combination of the two. Because most of their effort is spent on cosmetics, it feels like. It seems like that's where most of their resources and team is allocated to, is anything like microtransaction related. At least that's how I and many others feel. And less on like actually improving the game or adding meaningful content or meaningful updates to it. It's fucking sad because this game has like the highest potential out of any product on the market, in my opinion. Just straight up across the board. This game has the most fucking potential. The gunplay is extremely satisfying. The builds are extremely fun and versatile. Except for Warlocks for a while, pretty much all of us were using Starfire Protocol because, I mean, you could use it for pretty much...
Dude, Moist knows what's up, man. This guy's, he plays D2. I know he says he's got like 1,000 hours, but he knows the metas and stuff.
Everything. But for the most part, the builds are extremely versatile. They have their own unique niches that they can fill in raids and tough encounters. And there's just so much variety to the gameplay itself, so much depth. It's just such a beautiful game, too. Everything is so nice in Destiny and feels so fucking good. And when they actually put effort into the lore, like they did with Witch Queen expansion, the story was great, too. Obviously fumbled with Lightfall, but it has
people who complain that the raid is not hard, try clearing the raid with an LFG team. Let me tell you, I hate to be interrupting Charlie right here. I'm gonna interrupt him real quick though, and let me just get this out the gate. LFG teams are not meant for you to clear with. LFG teams are meant for you to interview potential long-term candidates for your raid team. You need to look at that. You join an LFG squad, okay? You identify one, maybe two at most in that squad that is worth a damn, okay? You continue the encounter, but inevitably you know you will fail. It just wasn't in the stars for you. You add those 1 or 2 people. You leave the raid after everyone loses hope. You re-invite those people and you start the LFG process all over again until you find an entire squad to then do the raid with. It is your interview process to acquire a full squad. It is tryouts. It is filtering. Now, I'm also going to say something that's going to come off toxic. If you keep finding yourself in rotation in LFG, there's a reason. And that's all right. It's all right. Sometimes I have to look inwardly and ask myself, am I just bad at this? Can I improve? I want to be able to smoke meat, man. I have tried here recently to get into smoking meat. I don't know why. Actually, I know why. I came across a guy smoking meat on the side of the road. I bought some of his ribs. Best ribs I ever had. Guess what? I've tried to replicate that 3 times. It just hasn't come out. It has been okay. It has been okay as an edible. As in, I will eat it because I've already committed time and effort into this project, but it is by no means great. So therefore, I have to look inwardly and ask myself, am I just bad at this? Okay, kind of, probably. How can I improve? I don't fucking go out there and talk shit to my grill and tell my grill that hey grill, won't you smoke this meat better, motherfucker? I don't fucking look at the meat, talk shit to the meat. Won't you marinate yourself better, motherfucker? No, I look inwardly and I ask myself, how long should I have left it on the grill? Should I have let things simmer a little bit longer? Should I spritz it twice an hour instead of just once? Practice, man. It's the same thing in raiding. All right, let's continue on this.
All of the building blocks of a fucking masterpiece. The only thing it's missing is a development team that cares about it. Like, it's sad. It's fucking sad. And instead of like putting people's mind at ease with this state of the game where it's like, look guys, we know you've been dropping the ball, but here's what we're going to do. We're really going to put our foot on the gas pedal and go hog wild and deliver the Destiny 2 experience that you guys really want. Instead of doing that, they instead release like the worst fucking summer book report of nothing about the direction they're going with the game and what they're adding to it and what they're doing. It's just like, it's so flat. It's so flat, which made everyone pretty upset. I went over it on stream, so I'm just going to play the stream clips for you, but I know most of you have probably been mesmerized by what I'm wearing here. This is the newest Moist Global anime hoppy coat. You can find it at moistglobal.com, as well as many other items in this anime.
This man's drip, dude. I gotta up it.
moistglobal.com to check these bad boys out. Did you see that the Destiny community is pissed at Bungie for their State of the Game article, where Bungie basically went, yeah, game development is hard, so we have to do the bare minimum. Please buy the final shape. Look it up though. That sounds very on brand for modern Bungie, unfortunately. Destiny is a game with the most fucking potential that is never realized because Bungie's too lazy. That's so fucking frustrating. My name is Joe, I'm the game director for Destiny 2. Right now the team and I are heads down on making sure the final shape and the seasons leading up to it are incredible, so for the rest of this update you'll be hearing from a bunch of different voices that all contributed to this mid-year state of the game. Wanted to start with a quick thanks to all of you who have been playing Destiny for so many years. The way you play and feedback you give us is a huge part of how we shape our plans, and it's an honor to log in each day and play in this universe alongside all of you. Is this the major complaint? Most frequent feedback we see is that there's just not enough new PvP content, specifically new maps. Was the maps the big issue? Because I remember when I was grinding for fucking Recluse, the big thing I hated about it is the PvP is so half-baked. So dreadfully half-baked. There is so much they could do with PvP in that game if they just gave the slightest fuck about it. That is a major complaint, but not the biggest issue in the game. Oh, no, not in the game. I just meant in terms of PvP. Yeah.
We definitely just want more map. I think we're very much baked into Stockholm right now. But like right now, we're not even asking for new maps. We're just asking for old maps. So I think Charlie continues reading through the state of the game. And here's the thing, guys. I've already gone to the state of the game too many times to the point where I'm going to do what I do with the final season of Game of Thrones. I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist. Okay? It never happened. State of the game never happened. We're gonna move on. And I will say this, everything is going to come down to the August 22nd showcase reveal. And let me also say, like, anytime we ever say that, it's normally very, very bad. But I've stated here recently that we're going to go into this with a slightly upbeat but neutral outlook on things. And we're going to experience what's to come.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.